Hi, this is Lindsay from The Homey Life, where I share from scratch homemade meal recipes and homemaking tips. And today I wanted to share how to get homemade meals onto the table every day a lot easier than having to meal plan. I have been making generally at least 3 meals a day for my family for at least a decade now. And there's definitely a few things that I have learned along the way and some tips and tricks that I think will make your life so much easier when it comes to preparing food for your family, as this is such a big role in your life. Before we go on, I just want to remind you to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And in the description below, you will find some of these recipe links. Now, I have tried doing your weekly meal plan where you plan out what you're going to make for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you go and get the ingredients, and then you just hope pretty much that everything goes perfectly smoothly as planned and you make those meals. And I have to say, for me personally, that just has never worked out very well. First of all, something either gets used or new things happen. All of a sudden you have an appointment, or maybe the kids got sick, or you never know. Life happens, and that meal plan can actually be more stressful than helpful. So for example, for today, I'm actually preparing a slow-cooked corned beef recipe, or silverside. I knew I was going to be out all day today. I knew in my freezer I had this corned beef, so I took it out last night, prepared it this morning before we were going to leave, got in the slow cooker with some vegetables, and that was it. That's an easy meal. I didn't even think about it until the night before. And this is as simple as spicing up your meat and throwing it in a slow cooker. And then tonight I just whipped up a bit of gravy to go with it, and my husband did some fried potatoes, but you don't even need to do that. It was just so simple. And that's how your meals can be. So instead of having to write this whole meal plan to go for your whole week, I recommend stocking up on staples. And so when I talk about staples, of course, one of the main staples is having meat on hand. Meat does form a bulk of your meals. It's very filling and it's very nutritious, and it's just easy to work with once you actually have some meat in your fridge or freezer. So the very first thing I do is make sure you have meat. We bulk buy our meat, so we generally always have some sort of beef in our freezer, and I like to bulk buy like chicken and sausages and things like that whenever possible, and I stock that into my freezer. Bulk buy meat, have it in your freezer, and then just make sure you just take it out the night before. You could think about what you want to make, take it out so it can defrost. The great thing is that even certain meats, like for example ground beef, don't take long to defrost. So if you completely have forgotten all about dinner, you can take it out, put it in some warm water, and then cook it. And it's pretty quick and simple to cook and make something with ground beef. So it's very forgiving as long as you have meat to do that with. Other staples I always like to have on hand is spices. What's the point of having meat or vegetables if you have nothing to spice it with? Things like salt, pepper, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, onion powder, depending what spices you like. It could be cumin, curry, whatever is your preference when it comes to spices. But I like to have those ones on hand along with paprika. I use a lot of paprika in my cooking. You can't go wrong with spices. It adds so much flavor to any meal that you're going to be making. Now, I just thought I'd let you know, at the moment I am cooking a German pancake, or a Dutch baby pancake they call it, the sourdough version. It's on my blog, and it was Valentine's Day, so I just wanted to make something a little bit cute with some chocolate sauce to drizzle on top, a bit of berries. The kids really had fun enjoying and helping slice up the strawberries and assemble them as well. Now back to the staples. Other things to always have on hand are like fruit and vegetables. Specifically, I like to have root vegetables because they last long and also really help to bulk up meals. Things like, of course, onion, garlic. I really like to have potatoes on hand. Potatoes, you can do so much with potatoes. Sweet potato, if you like pumpkin, those things are really easy to have on hand and can store quite well in a cool, dry place. Now, when it comes to having vegetables or fruit, you can have fresh and you can definitely have frozen. And I do like to have both in my freezer, so that way it's also really easy to just steam some green peas or the broccoli, corn, carrot mixes if you need to. And having frozen fruit is a really quick and easy snack, or you can make a pie or something like that with it. But my kids love to just have a smoothie with them or just like to pick frozen fruit. Really easy to have that on hand. Now, I actually got given this pumpkin. I have to say that cutting a whole pumpkin is not something I do often at all. This was actually kind of hard for me to cut. I probably did it in the most retarded way, but I got it cut. We roasted the seeds and ended up getting like 10 cups worth of roasted mashed pumpkin, which is awesome because my kids really love pumpkin pie and there's a few recipes I want to try. So now we've got pumpkin in the freezer. Now, some other staples though I would recommend having are things like pasta, great for bulking, great for doing quick meals, pasta sauce, rice if you like rice and enjoy eating rice, and then of course things like cheese, because cheese is just amazing on anything. If you always have some staples on hand, you will always be able to make a meal. Without a doubt, you can whip something up if you have your basic staples in your fridge or freezer. And I think it's really important to have some go-to meals, like when time is just run out, you don't know what to do, have a couple of things that you always have in your fridge or freezer or your pantry. For example, for me, it's like tuna pasta. If time has gone away with me and I need to throw something together, I know I always have pasta, I always have tuna, I always have pasta sauce, and I always have spices and cheese. And I can whip that up in like 20 minutes and we will have dinner. And that can look very different for you, whatever your go-to meals are. But whatever they are, try to make sure you always have those staples in your kitchen. I think another important tip though when preparing food, when wanting to have food available quickly, is when you do have time, make sure you're doing something extra. If you have some time, get some bread going. If you have some time, prep some vegetables. Whenever you have time, do that little bit extra and it will make your life so much easier later on. Bread will always get eaten. You can always prepare dough, it will always end up getting eaten. Sliced vegetables and fruit, they will get used up. Your future self will thank you greatly for what you have done now in this free time. Sometimes I like to even prepare like cookies or let's say garlic bread that I will be freezing so that won't cook fully, just for future references. So we're not even going to eat them. I'm just getting the mixture ready and then I will prepare it and freeze it for another day, knowing maybe I'm going to have friends next week coming over and I want to have something on hand ready to just throw in the oven, and that's it. At the moment, I'm doing some pumpkin seeds and roasting these up. It was really easy to do. Different pumpkin seeds I definitely think taste better than other seeds. These ones are alright. Just a bit of olive oil, some salt, and I roasted them while I was roasting my other pumpkin. And I actually forgot about them and I started hearing popping noises like popcorn. But luckily they didn't burn and they came out really nicely. I think they're about like 10 to 15 minutes in the oven at like 200 degrees Celsius, so that's like 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyways, it's just a nice little extra protein snack that we can all enjoy. Honestly, when it comes to meals and preparing meals for your family, it is something that you get better at with time. I've been doing this now for a while, and I feel like you just start to learn your own rhythms, you get your own flows, you know what you like, you know what you don't like. It just gets a lot easier with time. So don't be discouraged thinking, gosh, it's so hard for me to get breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe snacks out every single day. I'm getting so exhausted. It will get so much easier. You'll learn how much your family will actually eat and what they enjoy. You'll pick up on what tastes good with what. You'll be able to mix spices easier together and come up with things on your own without needing a recipe. All those things do take some time. It's a learning curve, just like anything else. Now at the moment, I'm just ending our Valentine's Day by making some brownies for my kids and my husband because he loves it just as much. And I had some peanut butter sauce that I had made to go on a chocolate peanut butter cheesecake, which was amazing, and I will be making that recipe again. But these brownies are so delicious, and the recipe is in the link below. Now, I also just want to remind you not to go and try something new necessarily every single day, because when you do try something new, yes, it can be a great success or it can be a flop. And if you're getting, let's say, a lot of flops that week, it can be really discouraging to want to continue cooking and making meals. I've done that before, and it just feels really disheartening to make something, to put all this effort into something, and nobody likes it, or it came out, really bad. And I love creating new recipes and making new recipes, but I also stick with a lot of things that I already know and are tried and true. And let's say we'll try something new like twice a week. Like maybe I'll do a new dessert and I will do a new dinner or lunch recipe. But that way I'm making things I know we all like and eat. And if I happen to make one thing that doesn't turn out great, no biggie. It's alright. It was one meal. My success rate is a lot higher. It's a lot more encouraging to keep going. Now, to make sure that you always have staples at home, I have found keeping a little, like a notebook, a notepad with a pen in my kitchen, and as soon as I've run out or I'm running low on something we use a lot, I write it down on my grocery list so that I can purchase it right away. So either if I do bulk orders and I'm running low, I'll make sure I have that on my list, or when I bulk buy things, or for my weekly shopping list, depending on what it is, it goes straight there. So that way we always have a good amount of staples in my kitchen. Honestly, just having that notepad and pen in my kitchen has made such a difference, because you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna remember that when I make my grocery list. I can pretty much 100% guarantee you that you will not remember that item. You will go to the grocery shop and you will completely forgot that you wanted something that was actually quite essential, like let's say salt. If you have that in your kitchen counter already just sitting there, or like a magnet one on your fridge, there is a very good chance that you will pick it up and you will write on your little notebook the things that you need. Now, I hope you found this video encouraging and that I gave you some helpful tips to help you in your kitchen produce beautiful meals for your family from scratch without the hassle and heartache of trying to figure out what you're gonna make. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye for now.